Here at Ultimate Reloader, we've talked a lot about Barry's plated bullets. In this video, I wanted to look into the performance of 9mm 124 and 147 grains. I loaded them up on the 550, did some shooting, ran some chronograph data, and tested them on the ransom rest. Let's see what we found out. Hi, Serena here from Ultimate Reloader. 9mm is one of those cartridges that goes very quickly. Just when you think you have enough, you end up using it all. I don't load precision 9mm, but I do have a lot of brass and enjoy shooting it in a number of my handguns. Let's see how we can save some money. Even though 9mm is incredibly popular today, it was actually developed back in 1902. It came from a parent cartridge of the 7.65 by 21mm Parabellum and accepts a .355-inch bullet. There are a few things to keep in mind when reloading for 9mm. It accepts a small pistol primer. Also remember that you do not want to double charge. This can be incredibly dangerous. So if you have any doubt, just take the brass, put the powder back in the hopper, and start over. If you want subsonic rounds, be sure to look for a low extreme spread so that you don't accidentally have one that goes above the sound barrier. You also have to make sure that you use the appropriate seating plug. There's both rounded and flat versions depending on what bullet you're using. Today I have a round nose 147 and a flat point 124. Whatever you're looking to do, you can emulate. You might want to emulate a carry load or some less expensive practice ammunition. You might be looking for plinking ammo. Whatever you're looking to accomplish, be sure to look at all of the velocities, all of the data, and potentially even the power factor if you're competing in a discipline. One thing about Barry's is that these are plated bullets, so you need to make sure that they fall under the specified velocity. So for the 147, Barry said that it has to be under 1,250 feet per second, whereas the flat point, thick plate 124s with the hollow base have a maximum velocity of 1,500 feet per second. There's no shortage of powders for the 9mm. I looked both at Hodgdon's Online Reloading Data Center and Hornady's newest manual to see what would be great loads for the 147 grain round nose and the 124 grain flat point. There wasn't a lot of specific data for Barry's, but what I was able to do was look at the profiles, grain weights, and keep the velocities in mind, as Barry's has restrictions because they are plated bullets. I settled on CFE pistol as it's affordable, readily available, and works well for both bullet weights. Kyle Shields has really been expanding my repertoire of progressive press use while here at Ultimate Reloader. For this project, I loaded for the first time on the Dillon RL550C. I actually really enjoyed the manual indexing, though it was a bit different transition from the 750. I used Mojo Precision Brass, all mixed, that we processed in a previous story, as well as small pistol primers. I did 3 different loads, 2 for the 147 grains, since I really wasn't happy with the standard deviation and extreme spread of our initial 147 load. I began with the 124 hollow base, flat point, thick plated bullets with a charge weight of 5.1 grains of CFE pistol. This had an average velocity of 1,123.3 feet per second with an 18.2 standard deviation and a 65.9 extreme spread. As always, there's more you can do to refine loads, but I was happy with this for just general plinking load and out of the box getting started with it. Looking at the Hornady manual, I started out with 4.1 grains of CFE pistol for the 147 grain round nose bullets, but I only got an average velocity of 951 feet per second with a 107.9 feet per second extreme spread. This was way too much for a subsonic load, so I bumped up the charge weight to 4.3 grains. This yielded an average velocity of 1,019.5 feet per second with a 15.2 feet per second standard deviation and about half of the extreme spread of the former load at 48.6 feet per second. For me, testing accuracy using a ransom rest is the way to go. If you aren't familiar with a ransom rest, it's a precision testing fixture that has different grips for different model firearms. This allows you to put the gun into the rest and fire it, removing human error. So essentially, it's a sort of bench rest for your pistol. These are definitely not bullseye loads, nor is the Canik TP9 SFX that we had on hand a bullseye gun, but nonetheless, I wanted to see what these plated bullet loads could accomplish. We had extremely windy, cold, miserable conditions up on the ridgeline. We got it set up, we put the target out at 25 yards, and we got some really interesting data. The very first shot out of the gun was low on the paper.
Yep, down low, between the two bottom.
Usually it takes about 10 to 15 rounds for the gun to settle into the rest. But the next 6 shots with the 124 grain bullets measured 2.31 inches. I was really happy with this for 25 yards. Once I got into a groove, I shot a number of 5-shot groups at 25 yards with the Canik TP9 SFX, both with the 124 and 147 grain projectiles. The best group with the 124s measured 2.5 inches. It had a height of 2.49 inches and a group width of 1.48 inches. The 147 round nose bullets performed much better and was much more repeatable. The group size was 1.9 inches with a group height of 1.68 inches and a group width of 1.15 inches. Keep in mind that all of these shots were fired at 25 yards. That's 75 feet, way farther than most people are shooting 9mm. I wanted to test at this distance as it's generally pretty standard for firearms testing, and I knew that this would be the essential worst performance that I could expect. I was super curious to see what the 25-yard results would have been at 10 yards or 30 feet. I did some math, and the 124 grain group would have been about 1 inch, group height of 0.996 inches, and group width of 0.592 inches. The 147 grain load reduced to a 0.76 inch group at 10 yards with a 0.672 inch height and 0.46 inch width. I was really happy with this, especially for a plinking, practiced, steel challenge load. There's really nothing to be desired. Once again, this is not for your 25-yard and 50-yard bullseye shooters, but for people who are looking to get repetition in, I was incredibly happy with performance. Now for the fun part. Gavin, F-Class John, and I took a variety of 9mm pistols out to the industrial yard for some shooting. Check it out. At one point, Gavin attempted a left-handed, one-handed shot at approximately 30 yards.
Nope.
He missed it. I decided to try. I was super happy with the result.
Hey, nice.
That was awesome.
Nice.
I used the Ultimate Reloader cost calculator to see how my loads compared to factory loads. The 124 grain, 5.1 grain CFE pistol load came to 46 cents a round with new brass. With used brass, 26 cents a round. This is about equivalent to the lowest cost factory ammunition that I could find at Mid-South, but my personal preference of budget ammunition came in at 34 cents. Keep in mind that I'm comparing 124 grain to 124 grain in this case. You might wonder, is this actually a savings? Especially since 23 cents and 26 cents are only 3 cents difference and they don't even make pennies anymore. For me, I would say that it is, because having the ability to load my own ammunition, control the powder charge, the performance, rather than just getting something out of the box factory, though more convenient, is about worth that cost savings. And even if I wasn't actually saving any money, being so close in price, as long as I had the time and resources to do so, I would rather reload the ammo. Always be on the lookout for sales and deals on brass, primers, components. At the time of this video, Mid-South actually had a primer special that brought the cost for this 9mm load down to 32 cents with new brass. This is just under what it costs for my preferred brand, Blazer, of affordable 124 grain ammunition, so it's really kind of apples to apples at that point. So what else do you have to consider besides cost? Guy Miner actually worked with this exact same bullet, the 124 grain, with the same gun, the Canik TP9 SFX, and ran ransom rest tests at 15 yards. He used Remington factory ammunition as well as a very similar load to what I loaded today. He showed that the Remington factory wasn't as accurate and didn't perform as well as the hand loads. So even if it's a little bit cheaper, it might really not be better or comparable ammo. And I'd rather pay a few cents more or only save a few cents for that better accuracy. This Canik really liked Barry's 147 grain round nose plated bullet. It also had a significant cost savings with used brass at 23 cents per round to produce. With new brass, it came in at 43 cents, a little over the lowest price factory ammunition I could find at Mid-South, which was 40 cents a round. Once again, everything I discussed with the 124 grain also applies. I always run my loaded rounds through a case gauge, and this was no exception. I'm not here in Washington, so I was very eager to try out some of the tools that the whole team gets to use when I'm not around. For me, one of these was the 100 count ammo checker and quick loader from Armanov. I was able to very quickly put all of my loaded 9mm rounds into the quick loader and run my hand across the top of the ammo checker just to make sure that all the cases were properly resized. Before you say it, I know that casting bullets is the cheapest way to reload, but not everybody has the time or the equipment. I was really happy with the performance of these Barry's bullets, especially for the cost. Keep in mind that you're going to have to test in your own gun to figure out what your gun's like, as well as compare accuracy to your favorite factory load, if that's something that you're curious about like I am. Overall, I really enjoyed the experience of being able to work with the new press, but also utilize tools that are important to me in my precision world, like the ransom rest. The best part of this story was actually going out to the industrial yard and being able to shoot the Canik TP9 SFX, the Canik Rival S, and a Beretta 92. I had a lot of fun shooting with Gavin and F-Class John, having little bits of competition, but without the pressure that I normally have in my rifle match settings. So what do you think of these budget loads? Let me know what your favorites are, even if you're casting, and what more you'd like us to show here on the channel. Thanks for watching, drop a comment, and we'll join the discussion. I'm Serena Jichnowski, and I'll see you on the firing line.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us